Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you my opinion on the top 7 alligators that I think you should consider adding to your aquarium. But these are just fish and pets, and these aren't going to do the job for you. You still need to do your weekly maintenance and your water changes. And yeah, I hope you enjoy the video.
In this list, I wouldn't include any plecos simply for the fact that they get so large. In the wild, they can grow up to 24 inches, and in aquariums, they can grow up to 18 inches or 38 centimeters. A lot of people keep plecos in a tank that isn't large enough for them, and when the plecos don't grow to their full size, the people say that it's fine because the pleco didn't grow to its full size. But the pleco didn't grow to its full size because you're not keeping it in a tank that's large enough. So that's why I don't think you should get a pleco unless you have quite a bit of experience and unless you keep it in a really large tank or pond.
Okay, so number 1 on the list are Otto sinclairs. So Otto sinclairs catfish, also known as Ottos or Otto catfish, are peaceful little algae eaters which would make a spectacular addition to your planet tank. They can go in nano tanks and large community tanks as well. They're easy to look after, and they provide plenty of entertainment, and will keep your aquarium from being overrun by algae, as long as you keep them in the correct conditions. You should have 4 Otto sinclairs at the very least, and they are schooling fish, so around 10 would be preferred. And you should also keep Ottos in at least a 10 to 15 gallon tank. They like a stable pH, so around 6 to 7.5, and a water temperature between 22 to 28 degrees Celsius or 72 to 82 degrees Fahrenheit. And this following information applies with all fish. You should always be careful and make sure that you avoid any objects with sharp surfaces in your tank. Your Otto sinclairs and the other fish in your tank may damage themselves and create the ideal environment for a disease to establish. People often say that a fat Otto is a happy Otto. So what do Ottos like to eat? Well, they love to constantly grain on soft green algae growing on your substrate, your decorations, your aquarium glass, and your plants. Fish hobbyists have also reported Ottos eating brown algae, diatom. Diatom can often appear in new aquariums which haven't matured. But eating algae just isn't sufficient for Otto sinclairs. You should also feed them some algae wafers or catfish pellets. You can also improve their diet with some blanched vegetables like Brussels sprouts, spinach, and zucchini. I made a video on blanching zucchini, so feel free to check it out. So next up on the list are Neorite snails. These are by far my favorite type of snails. Neorite snails are a very hardy species of snail and are adaptable to a wide range of water conditions. They do a fantastic job at cleaning algae off the glass, wood, ornaments, and more. Now, a lot of people say that Neorite snails will eat your live plants, but that's actually false. They'll only eat your dead leaves. The female Neorite snails will lay eggs in fresh water, but they won't hatch unless they're provided with brackish water conditions. So if you didn't know, brackish water is basically fresh water mixed with salt water. So yeah, Neorite snails can actually thrive in both freshwater and saltwater tanks. They live up to 3 years and grow to a maximum of 2.5 centimeters or 1 inch. There are many popular types of Neorite snails available in pet stores today, including the zebra Neorite snail, the tiger Neorite snail, the olive Neorite snail, the black racer Neorite snail, and the horned Neorite snail. If a Neorite snail dies, be sure to remove it from the tank right away, because a decomposing snail can cause an ammonia spike in the aquarium water. and a dead snail will not be affixed to the glass or any type of surface. Usually they would be upside down and motionless, so basically what you see in the picture. Also, when adding Neorite snails to the tank, make sure that you put them on the substrate somewhere where they're not upside down, because when they're upside down, it's very hard for them to get back up. Sometimes even impossible. Neorite snail tank mates can include most invertebrates and fish appropriate for a freshwater community tank. The tank mates should also not include any aggressive invertebrates or fish, because the snails may get eaten. So avoid loaches, aquarium crayfish, goldfish, and cichlids. So Hillstream loaches. These are really cool alien-like fish. They just look so different and unique. The Hillstream loach is used to fast-moving water. So if you have these fish, you should try to replicate this to improve their life. The pH level range is supposed to be 6.5 to 7.5, and the best temperature is between 65 and 75 degrees Fahrenheit or 18 and 23 degrees Celsius. Sand and fine gravel are the best options for a substrate, as their smooth bodies can be harmed by rough sand. Don't forget that they often swim at the bottom of the tank. Since they like high-speed waters, rough sand may be abrasive to them. These fish prefer to be in schools of at least 4, and they grow around 3 to 4 inches or 7.5 to 10 centimeters. In terms of diet, Hillstream loaches like to eat pellet food, shrimp pellets, algae wafers, flake food, and frozen food including brine chip and bloodworms. They also like to eat blanched veggies like kale leaves, cucumber, blanched spinach, and zucchini. Amano shrimp are these small, translucent invertebrates that were named after Takashi Amano, the legendary aquascaper. They are very hardy shrimp and can tolerate a wide range of pH, anywhere between 6.5 and 8. The temperature of the tank water should be between 18 and 27 degrees Celsius or 65 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, this is an important thing to know when keeping shrimp or crayfish in an aquarium. If you see a white clearish shrimp lying around on your substrate, it could be the exoskeleton of a shrimp. This is called molting, kind of like how some reptiles shed their skin. You should keep them in a tank with at least a 10-gallon capacity. They'll eat algae, decaying plant matter, and anything that sinks to the bottom of the tank. If they eat a lot of things apart from algae, they might stop eating algae in your tank. In terms of tank mates, Amano shrimp go well with small live bearers, Otto sinclairs, Neorite snails, and small tetras. Cherry shrimp are shrimp constantly on the lookout for food. These invertebrates are suitable for both beginner and more experienced hobbyists. Their beautiful red color immediately stands out when looking at a tank. Cherry shrimp are very hardy and would thrive in a heavily planted setup with lots of shelter and hiding spots. They grow to be about 1.5 inches or 3.8 centimeters. They prefer a pH between 6.5 and 8, and a wide range of temperatures between 14 to 30 degrees Celsius or 57 to 86 degrees Fahrenheit. It is preferred to keep cherry shrimp in a tank of at least 5 gallons. Cherry shrimp also molt like Amano shrimp, and in fact, Amano shrimp and cherry shrimp do well together in tanks. They are very peaceful, and some ideal tank mates would include corridoras, some snails, small plecos, dwarf gouramis, and small tetras. They eat anything at the bottom of the tank and love to look around for leftovers. Siamese algae eaters are the perfect fish to clean up the algae in your tank. They're active and social creatures that will do well in both large groups and when kept alone. Since they're peaceful, these fish are ideal for beginners to add to their community aquarium. You should keep these in a tank of at least 20 to 25 gallons, even they grow 6 inches, 15 centimeters. They would thrive in a large planted community tank. Fun fact, these fish can live up to 10 years if you provide them with the ideal tank conditions. Siamese algae eaters like a pH between 6.5 and 8, and a water temperature of 24 to 26 degrees Celsius, 75 to 79 degrees Fahrenheit. They do well in large groups, but also when kept alone. Ideal companions for a Siamese algae eater are other community-type fish. Your gouramis, schools of barbs, tetras, danios, angelfish, guppies, swordtails, or corycats. They'll all do fine alongside your Siamese alligator as tank mates. The main part of their diet is in their name. In the wild, they eat algae, plant matter, and vegetation. But they're not just herbivores, they're scavengers, so they'll eat whatever they find, including dead fish and insects. It's easy to provide for them in the aquarium. They're not fussy and will eat most things you add to the tank. This includes flake and pellet foods from stores, algae wafers, and live foods. Good examples of live foods are brine shrimp and bloodworms. Frozen varieties will work as well. Last up on the list are platies. If you're new to the aquarium hobby, platy fish are the fish for you. They're peaceful, easy to care for, and an ideal fish for a community aquarium. And they eat algae too. These fish have a bright coloration. There are many breeds and hybrids within this species, which come in as many colors as the rainbow. They grow to be around 3 inches, 7.5 centimeters, and you should keep them in a tank of at least 10 gallons. They can live up to 4 years and like a densely planted tank. They like a pH of 6.8 to 8.0 and a water temperature of 21 to 25 degrees Celsius, or 70 to 77 degrees Fahrenheit. These fish are live bearers, which means they give birth to live young. So it's likely that if you keep these fish in a tank, you would regularly find babies swimming around. They get along well with other similar size and temperament fish, such as corydoras, tetras, gouramis, small peaceful barbs, and obviously other platy fish. They can be kept with shrimps and snails if you would like some non-fish companions. They will eat most food, live, commercially prepared, and vegetable food. You should choose a good quality flake food to form the core of their diet. Thanks for watching until the end. I hope you enjoyed.